Hello.
Hello, how you doing? Hello, how you doing?
Welcome to Thirsty Chats.
It's Thursday already.
I'm Alan.
I'm Malcolm. Last time I looked.
Absolutely. Thursday. Chats.
Thursday again.
Thursday again.
So it's Thursday and we're going to chat.
Exactly.
The name's a bit of a giveaway.
The last of the series.
Yes. The grand finale.
Grand finale of the current series.
Yes, we're going to have a rap party after this.
Absolutely. We're going to be up to 4 o'clock in the morning dancing just because we can.
Yes.
And David's with us tonight. Hi,
David. Hello, David. How are you, sir?
Where are you in the world, David? Drop us a comment and
let us know where the heck you're at.
He's always in very interesting places.
He is.
Very interesting.
Never stays in the one spot too long.
Absolutely.
Great.
So, please do that. Give us a old hello.
Yes.
And Laney's in as well.
Laney. Hello, Laney. How are you, darling?
There we go. All the way from Bradford.
All the way from Bradford.
Isn't it Bradford-ish?
Bradford, yes.
Bradford.
Hold on.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
North Yorkshire.
No. You've just made a big mistake.
Oh,
West Yorkshire.
West Yorkshire.
And they're very proud of that.
South Virginia.
They're very proud of that fact. You watch yourself.
Okay, there we go. David is heading from Kildare. He's in Kildare, heading for Cork.
Is he?
There you go. I knew it'd be somewhere interesting.
On the road again.
Haven't been in Kildare for a while myself. Were you down there for Bridget? We've had Bridget stay this week. Yes, first of Bridget. Bridget stay first.
It's going to be a bank holiday next year.
It is going to be a bank holiday next year. Brilliant, bring it on.
Great stuff.
Next year, Bridget 1500.
Bridget 1500 and Columba 1500 this year.
Is that it? Yes, many hundreds. 1500. There we go.
Yes. No, it was last year 1500 Columba.
Last year was that.
I keep forgetting what year it is. 521 he was born, so that would make he's 1501 this year.
There we go. Columba last year, Bridget next year.
Oh, that's great.
We had the school decided lastminute.com from one of the children's teachers to we need rushes for the morning. 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, just like that.
3 o'clock in the afternoon. The poor father was out in the fields.
Near dark.
Like a demented man.
Near dark, with a pair of scissors or a hedge clipper.
Looking for thick, soft green rushes with no brown bits.
Oh, what? No, you're not allowed the brown bits?
No, oh dear. Not amused.
He wasn't a happy camper, I would imagine.
If you had trouble this week with your rushes, you just give us a shout and let us know how you overcame them.
Yes, any rush disasters, do let us know.
Yes, we're very much up for those.
We are. We need to know these sorts of things.
Absolutely. Already, we have people giving us some likes and some loves. If you're at home and you're watching us, could you give us a like or a love on whatever platform you're looking at us on?
For your algorithm.
For the algorithm, yes. There we go.
That's today's big word.
There. Helps other people to see what's going on. So
algorithm.
Yeah, absolutely. Give us a like or a love. Or you could make Sally's night. Give us a share.
A share. Sally is very sharing and caring.
She's sharing and caring, but she's a great fan of a share.
She loves to share.
Last one this week of last one of our series.
Yes, on Vision.
Vision. We had See the Vision, Be the Vision. This week it's Extravision.
Extravision. Yes, Extravision.
Looking forward to that.
We'll give it a go. See what happens.
Who knows?
Who knows what direction it'll take? Because last week it didn't go the way I prepared it at all. Sure, it's great.
Well, that's just how these things happen.
So we'll just see what happens in the second half. We'll just let it roll and see where we end up. Sure, it'll be grand.
Isn't it great to see that nobody's had a rush disaster this week?
That's good.
It is. It's great relief.
I was worrying about that. I slept the wink last night for you.
If you are watching us, please say hello. Drop us a comment and let us know what you're up to this week.
Yes, please do.
Spring sprang this week.
Spring has sprung.
Yes, although I think spring has sprung for Irish people, but not for our neighbours in the UK.
No.
I think.
No.
1st of March for them.
I think you might be right there.
I have a notion. My wife has explained this to me many times, but I'm not sure.
I just say it's spring when people tell me it is spring.
Well, I saw daffodils up. Has anyone else got daffodils up?
Have you?
My father has them in the pots and they're out.
What about
yellow daffodils?
My goodness.
Has anyone else got yellow daffodils?
What about the snowdrops? I haven't seen any of them yet.
I've seen no snowdrops.
Oh, Sally's got snowdrops.
Snowdrops.
And daffodils. All kinds of everything.
Yes. We'll move on from that very quickly. Anyway,
Sally's much amused.
there's
over
nothing
there.
like a bit of Dana.
We love a bit of Dana.
Um,
Lovely girl.
Lovely. So, has anyone? Yeah.
What?
Well, currently we have David in Kildare and we have
Uh-huh.
Lainey in. Although the comments are not coming through tonight. Well, maybe they are.
No, maybe nobody's much to say today.
Maybe nobody's got much to say. But if you have got something to say, we'd really appreciate it because we don't know now where the comments broken or we offended everybody over rushes.
I think you may have offended them with the North Yorkshire statement.
In North Yorkshire was the problem.
Yes.
We would like to issue. I would like to issue
withdraw that statement.
a formal apology for any offence caused.
Where is it?
West Yorkshire.
Yeah,
West Yorkshire.
You. Good man.
There we go. There's John. John, how are you? He's at least proved that the comments are working.
Good. How I know they're very offensive is because there was a certain program on a certain channel the other evening and they named a village and they said it wasn't North Yorkshire, it's actually in West Yorkshire.
Okay.
And there was much upset.
Much offence was caused.
Much upset.
Okay.
People were beside themselves.
With excitement.
Oh no, with disgust.
Disgust.
Oh, yes, at the statement.
Brilliant. John, I'm delighted to hear that you're keeping well, and it's even better because we now know that things are working.
Oh, good.
Well, I was a bit relieved there. A bit relieved.
The whole thing had frozen up there.
Well, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, if we must be working. I think Sally's working. Sally's very overworked.
Sally's working away there. She has a laptop on the go. She has her mobile phone on the go. She's looking at us. She's laughing to herself. She's doing all sorts there.
She brought us the old Ferrero Rocher because she is the senior ambassador.
She is.
Her Excellency.
Yes. Her Excellency.
The senior ambassador to the IT.
Yes, yes. And we're thinking of nominating her for a damehood, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there we go. Senior ambassador.
Senior ambassador. Isn't that great?
For
I love to see people going up in the world. I
yes.
really do.
Senior ambassador for international students.
International. Not just ordinary ones.
Not just your commoner garden.
Oh, international ones. Sure, isn't that great?
There you go.
I'm glad to hear that.
She's doing a powerful job.
I've never seen her do anything else.
As long as she keeps bringing the Ferrero Rocher, we will be delighted.
I didn't have one, by the way.
Weren't you very well behaved?
Other sweets are available.
Other sweets are
Other confectionaries with nutty cluster things on them are available in your local retailers.
But not from the ambassador.
No, not from the ambassador.
No.
I noticed they don't do them in the wee plastic box anymore, or do they? There's the wee cardboard box, and I remember you used to get them in the lovely wee plastic box.
Maybe it's more environmentally friendly.
Or could be saving the planet.
I like a bit of saving the planet.
Mm-hmm. I like saving the planet too. It's a lovely planet and it needs saved.
It does. Oh dear. I think we finally lost it, Malcolm.
I think we have, I think we have.
Yeah. How was your week? I usually ask that question earlier on in this conversation, but we seem to disappear down a rabbit
I didn't even know what day it was. And then you told me it was Thursday.
It is Thursday because it's Thursday chats.
This week's been all right. Been grand, It's been quiet, not much excitement.
Yes.
Do you know me? I'm not that excitable anyway at the best of times. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had an outing to County Roscommon.
Do tell.
I did. I had an outing to County Roscommon.
I
know. I wonder if there's anybody on. All the way to Roscommon.
That's amazing.
It was amazing. That was unbelievable. There's an amazing coffee shop in the middle of Roscommon.
There isn't.
There is.
Is it?
Very nice. It's got a yellow front. I can't remember what it's called. Dave Flanagan probably knows, but anyway.
It's called the Yellow Front Cafe.
I don't know, but it's very nice. I do like it. Fantastic scone.
I was just about to say, tell us all about it.
Yes, fantastic scones. Good coffee.
What breed of scone did you have?
Well, I had a fruit scone.
Fruit.
I'm pretty predictable, to be fair.
You go margarine or butter? Butter.
Always butter.
Slap a jam.
Absolutely. Yes. There we go. That was me.
My kind of scone.
David's wondering, have we tried a white Ferrero?
Oh no. That's very exotic.
That's for the reason.
That's for
wonder if she's senior enough to get away.
I don't know. Our golden ambassador. There we go.
Gold foil, aren't
They're nice.
Sally has tried them. Yes, Sally has just informed us that yes, she has already.
They're not called Ferrero.
No, they're not called. Oh, they have a different name.
There we go.
Mm.
Amy has solved our Roscommon quandary. It is Rogues in Roscommon.
No better cafe for a man called Alan
Absolutely.
in a Rogues Gallery.
A rogue
cafe.
and a man called Steve, who I was meeting.
Another rogue. Oh,
Yes, to lift a whole pile of resources. So anyway,
great.
yes, Amy, I think that sounds right. And I'd say now, Amy, you would know the cafes of Roscommon Town.
She's well acquainted.
Well acquainted. Good
Mhm.
spot. Good
Good.
spot. Can't complain.
Other cafes are available.
They are, but we don't know the names of even the ones we went into, so the other ones are a mystery to us all.
Yes, but they're there anyway.
They are. Some spots. That was the highlight of my journeying this week. Although I'm off tomorrow on a little odyssey to
Where?
Longford Town.
Longford Town.
Longford Town tomorrow to the Midlands in Ireland's ancient East. I knew. Who knew?
You are never at home these days, are you? Roscommon and Longford.
Roscommon, Longford.
International. jet
Absolutely. There's no end to the
set. You ever watch a program called Wicker's World? You'd be too young to remember that way in the 70s. How Alan Wicker traveled the globe reporting. You could be our foreign correspondent. You could go to Longford and places like that.
Absolutely.
Doing wee podcasty things or wee things. to
David
shout or-
Attenborough. And now in the main street.
Yes, now in the Serengeti.
Malcolm, we're going to get into trouble.
We
Let's
are,
stop.
we are.
The Comfy Cafe, David Flanagan reckons that could be right too. I don't really know. It definitely has a yellow front. It's not like me not to know these things.
No, you're usually a lot more observant than that, aren't
No,
you?
it is, but I don't know what and I've been several times because it's very nice. It's table service. They sit you at a table.
Oh,
It is. It's very pleasant.
very posh.
Yeah, they serve you your food.
Very posh.
It is,
You don't have
like-
to go and get your own.
No, it's very nice.
Do you get real knives or wooden ones or plastic ones?
No, proper cutlery and plates and proper everything.
You get a saucer.
I had a saucer.
Oh my goodness.
There you go. Who
You're,
knew?
You're nearly as posh as Sally.
Nearly.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder could she go to Roscommon on an international ambassadorial. And she's worked in Roscommon. She has dug up Roscommon.
She has dug no stone left. No stone left.
Oh, those two road I probably did because the one decent bit of road.
My
and the
son used to dig up stuff for a living, didn't he?
There's a bit of that road that looks like no man's land. It does look like David Attenborough and an elephant were about to appear out of a road somewhere.
She's a navvy, no? She did a little digging, no?
She was an archaeologist.
Archaeologist.
She sieved most of that ground.
I can confirm that Amy is right. It's Rogue and Co Cafe.
Rogue and Co.
Rogue and Co.
Rogue and Co. The research department have answered our problems.
Yes. Oh, we're looking at a picture of it right now.
There
Yellow
we go.
front,
That's definitely it.
that's
Yes,
the one.
Sally has confirmed it. Well
Yeah.
done, Amy Shorten. You can have a Thursday Chats mug for that. Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Well done, Amy.
Yes.
Top of the class,
Top of the
Amy.
class.
Well done, you. That was wonderful.
There we go.
That solved that conundrum.
It is. I was very confused. Tomorrow, I
wouldn't
don't know
have
where.
slept. Wouldn't have
coffee.
slept tonight wondering
No.
about that.
And there's some other fascinating things about Longford that I discovered on my last visit to Longford.
Oh, do tell.
You know how most people, most places, when they have multiple lanes of traffic,
Yes.
they mark the road with those lanes of traffic.
White lines.
White lines,
right.
and you drive in this one, and then you drive in
No,
the
you
middle one.
stay there and you stay there.
It's
And
this wonderful road that has three. So it has three roads going into it, and it has three lanes, but there's no markings. It's a mystery to me. Complete mystery.
just put your foot down and go for it. Do you?
Just for it's fascinating how it all works, but it seems to work.
Mhm. That sounds like a great spectator sport.
There you go.
You could stand in the street
And it was
corner
a
there
Friday
watching.
night, and where everyone was going for their takeaways, they were only driving over the pavements,
Ah,
which was great.
that's great. That'd be good to watch.
There you go.
I could take myself down to.
Don't just go to Longford for Centre Parks. Go to Longford
I'd watch the
and
traffic.
watch the traffic.
Do not play with the traffic.
Just
Just
watch
watch the
the
traffic. Yes, that's a good idea.
You definitely need a lot of vision if you were to play in that traffic. Even extra vision.
Oh, you're slick. You are on a roll tonight, son.
I don't know. There probably is.
Or was there an extra vision in Roscommon or Longford?
Does anybody out there remember Extravision? We reckon that some of Malcolm's family may have worked in it
I
at some
think our
point.
Jennifer worked in it at the time. I think
Definitely. I definitely borrows many videos from it, but I don't think I ever.
No, I don't think you were the one Jennifer was in there.
No, Kyle Rain.
Kyle
Railway
Rain,
Road
right.
and Kyle Rain had one.
Really? Railway Street. I know where you're at.
Yeah, Railway Road
Where
had
you're
one
at.
there right beside Little Caesar's Pizza Shop.
Nice spot.
Both places that were, you see, I usually can remember the
Other
place.
pizzerias are available.
They are, although I don't know what it's called these days. And then it moved
Probably
down
not even
into Queensgate Street onto the main street. There you go. They got posh then.
Oh my goodness me!
I remember EXTRAVISION being floated on the Irish Stock Exchange.
Here do you?
I do.
Did one buy shares? Did one?
Did one, did not, but one did do a business project in secondary school where one lost money on it.
Oh dear.
Yeah. DVDs were
You're
still
fired.
I'm fired. That's one of those ones. But anyway, there we go.
Just call me Mr. Sugar.
Oh dear. Anyway, dear friends who are in tele www.vhs land out there
Wibbly wobbly land.
with a bit of a DVD and some downloads on the side. It's nearly break time.
Is it?
Well, believe it or not, it is over break time.
It's time for a Rocher.
It's a time for a Rocher from the Ambassador. And wherever you...
Not a
Coleraine is the hometown of David. Coleraine is my wife's hometown. Know it
great.
very well.
It's a great spot.
It's a great spot. I still enjoy a visit. Although, unfortunately, most of the main street is now closed, but we won't get into that.
It is.
It is. It's
Great
good.
Greg's in the main street.
There's a great Greg's.
Mm-hmm.
And there used to be a really great wee cafe on the corner above the clothes shop. Arnold's or something, I can't remember. You get a fry for $1.99.
Oh, I know where you're
Unbelievable
at.
place.
There's one around the corner, the big O or something.
The big O potato bread to die for. Anyway, we won't
Yeah,
get...
fry in there with chocolate donkey. Oh, great.
We are going for a break before we start reviewing Coleraine eateries. We will see you after the break, and
Yes, I'm hungry now.
he's hungry, and we're going to do some extra visioning after the break.
Yes, we'll come give it a go.
We're back.
We're back.
Uh-huh,
Oh, there you go. Caught me napping
Snowy
there.
Norway has
Snowy Norway.
Snowy Norway. Hi, David. Good to see you.
I'm dreaming of a white Norway.
I'm. Do you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Good wee trip.
There's a thought.
There's a thought.
Mm.
David, I hope you're having a good night. It's
Good
great
to
to have
see
you along with
Ah,
us.
good to have you, David. Good to have you with us.
Snowy Norway. They're promising snow here, David, for the weekend, but it's only promising it'll never come.
I can't see it somewhere.
No.
Not this part of the world, anyway. Maybe in the middle, but not this part. Maybe in the middle, but get snow. We don't really get the snow
No,
here in
it's
the
true.
west.
It's true.
Mm.
It's true. Until we do.
And then we do get it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't stay long.
No, it'll be grand.
It'll not be Norway snow.
Won't be Norway snow anyway, that's for sure. Yeah, I think, David, it dropped to 5 degrees tonight. That's as low as it's got for ages.
Did it?
It did.
It's
It's going
gonna freeze.
to freeze.
Sally says it's going to freeze.
And Sally's better than the weather forecast.
Yellow warning.
If Sally says it's going to happen, it's going to happen, and that's all there is about it.
What's her face? The weather woman. I can't remember her name.
No, I just listen to Sally.
Teresa Mannion is the reporter. No, who's the one with the funny wink on the weather forecast?
Don't look at me.
Oh, she's not called Emer. I can't remember what she's called.
I think she's retired recently.
Is she gone? Oh, no.
I'd say Sally's going to Google that one.
I think she might.
Mm-hmm.
No, and actually, I tell a lie. It used to be the man who used to wink. We used to call him the wink. We used to
Jerry
call
Murphy.
Jerry Murphy. Yes, he was the winking weatherman.
You Carey. I mean, you're thinking.
No, I thought she was called Eileen or Phoebe or Philomena or I don't know what her name was. Anyway, look, let's get on with the night. I could be going through Orgy and Redder with you.
Baffled.
There's a lot of money,
But you know you one with the hair and the really bad dress sense. Anyway, sorry, moving on.
Not describe about the half of them. They've got hair and bad dress.
David Duran might just save us. Yeah, sure, we don't have winter tires, so maybe best not to have snow. Yeah, we don't have winter tires. We're lucky to have any tires around here, David.
Look at my back tires. They're almost slick.
Oh, dear. I was thinking another bit. I'm not quite there yet, but they're getting ropey.
Not canvassy, I hope.
No, ropey. As opposed to shady, which is what he's talking about.
Oh, no.
Anyway, let's try and pull this from
the car crash. It's become
into some kind of focus. We've had a really good season. We kind of started off with thinking about the vision that God has for us, kind of thing.
We did.
And then how we stepped into it, that was kind of being the vision.
Being the vision. And then I thought this week about extra vision. I was thinking about, sometimes we can try and be the vision, but sometimes that might go slightly wrong for us.
Yeah, be kind, rewind.
Yes, be kind, rewind. What's your video city number?
3989.
I thought it might be.
Because sometimes we have to go back.
Oh, very good. To go back, to go forward.
Exactly.
Oh, good.
Be kind, rewind.
You've been thinking about that all week.
I have, genuinely. It's ridiculous. Anyway, moving on. It's a good point, though, I thought, for EXTRAVISION. Move on.
Oh, very good. I like that. Well, no, just when you say it, but looking back.
There we go. Seamless.
Seamless. I didn't even know you were coming out that. I was thinking about vision, and I think sometimes we forget that vision can sometimes be a negative thing if you have the wrong sort of vision.
Misguided vision.
Misguided vision. If your vision becomes maybe not focused on God, but focused on things around you, things can go slightly pear-shaped for you.
Like when the vertical hold on the old telly boxes didn't work.
Correct. There's Eve. Remember Eve away at the start of the Bible in Genesis 3?
I do.
Remember the vision that she had. What was her vision? She had the vision of the tree. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
Yes.
She was encouraged to look at that. So her vision went off God onto the tree that she was told not to eat from. What did she do? She looked at the tree and saw that the fruit looked good and saw all the advantages that she thought she would get from eating that fruit. The knowledge of good and evil.
Yep.
So that vision was more earthly. It wasn't heavenly. She was looking at the things around her and seeing what she could get and what she could grab for herself.
Misguided.
Lovely. And then you were talking about rewind.
Yes.
What about Lot's wife?
Yeah, she did more than rewinding.
Lot's wife, they were escaping from Sodom and Gomorrah, and Lot's wife, and they were told, don't look back. Don't look behind you. Don't look at what you used to have. Don't look at what you used to be. Keep going forwards. But poor old Lot's wife, she couldn't help herself. She looked back. And it all went wrong for her.
I know, and it's hard sometimes not to look back to the familiar or the things we know or the things we've cared about or the things that have been part of our lives for a long time.
I think that comes with a sense of vision. It is, in essence, a form of looking forwards. And it's, as you say, it's very, very hard not to look back. Very, very hard not to look back. especially if what you're striving towards. Remember, we talked about a vision could be a goal or something you want to achieve. If that's proven to be difficult, sometimes you're tempted just to do a bit of a lot swipe and just look back and say, oh, it was nicer and more cozy there, and I was happy enough
was
there,
easier.
everything was grand, and look where I'm at now, and this is a struggle, and this is horrible. And I think we can lose sight of what our vision actually is.
Yeah, well, funny, David's just after saying there about how nostalgia is very popular these days.
It is. Mm-hmm. It is.
But there is something about, and sometimes when we have to move on from things, it's not always easy. I know from my own personal experiences that's
It's not easy. It's not easy. It can. You see, people having visions. We talk about different people that had visions. We talked about Isaiah and Ezekiel and different people that had these great visions. But to follow that vision, Jeremiah, different people like that, to follow that vision, to pursue that vision, took them into a very uncomfortable, even a dangerous place at times.
Absolutely.
Some of those men actually lost their lives following the vision that they'd been given. And so as David says about nostalgia and looking back, but sometimes we are guilty of looking back with sort of rose-tinted glasses and thinking, oh, weren't the olden days far better and wasn't it a lot easier and happier?
And the other thing is also true. We look back and we kind of think because of what's been in the past, we can't live in the future or in the present.
That happens as well.
Next Sunday's reading is 1 Corinthians 15. And in that, there's a couple of verses in it that made me stop when I read it earlier in the week about how Paul talks about how he doesn't even feel like he could be an apostle because of what he did in the past. And he was a man who he didn't actually have vision; he lost vision on the road.
He did literally, he lost vision.
And yet, because of what had happened, I'm sorry, that's just me straying off into my own thought process.
No, that's fine. No, that's sometimes your past and your past experiences and your past life can nearly cause you to feel hindered, cause you to feel like, I can't pursue this goal. I can't pursue this vision that I've been given or granted because of what I was or because of what I have been.
David has again picked up on about the Israelites in Sinai saying that they had it better in Egypt.
Exactly. Abraham and Sarai, they were quite well off when they were in Egypt, and everything was fine.
Yeah.
I know he pretended she was his sister and all that sort of thing. That's a completely different story. But they were looking back and saying, "Oh, it was nicer there, and we were comfortable, and we had a nice place to live, and we had plenty of grub and everything else." And that can happen. That can happen. But there's something else that can happen as well. When we take our eyes off the vision that we've been given, and we look at our pasts, and we look at who we are, who we think we are, who we perceive ourselves to be, what the circumstances are like around us, what's happening around us, what difficulties we're facing. And it makes me think of, you remember the story of Peter? Remember whenever there was a storm on the Sea of Galilee, and they were all in the boat, and they thought, we are in big trouble here. We're about to sink.
Yep.
Jesus was on the other side of the lake. And he decided in the middle of the storm, in the middle of the sea, apparently the way the geography around the Sea of Galilee, these storms can come up very quickly, and they can become very violent very, very quickly. And even people like Peter that were really well experienced fishermen knew that if one of these sort of like rogue storms came up and these rogue waves, that they were in big trouble. So they were getting afraid. They were struggling. I think it says something about they were rowing with the oars, but they weren't getting anywhere. No matter how hard they rowed, they weren't getting anywhere.
They couldn't pull through it. Yeah.
So Jesus comes walking across the water, and they start to think this is some sort of a ghost or a spirit that's floating across the water. But Jesus calls out to him, and he says, "Don't be afraid, Peter. Don't be afraid. Come out of the boat and come over to me." Peter gets out of the boat. That's an amazing thing anyway, that he would actually do that.
Yeah.
He was obedient. Jesus had given him a vision of walking on water. And he followed that and he obeyed that. And he got out of the boat and he started walking towards Jesus. And his vision, I love this picture. His vision was fixed on Jesus. It was fixed on God. He was staring right at God, and he knew where he had to go, and he knew what his goal was, and he knew that God had him safe.
Yeah.
But then, like a lot of us do, like I've done, the eyes started to go sideways, and there's a big wave. Oh, or maybe a big wave come over and slapped him on the side of the head or something. I don't know. I just imagine the water tossing about, and the wind and the noise, and he started to look around him. And the moment that he took his eyes off Jesus and he started to look around him, and he saw the difficulties and the dangers, when he took his focus off the vision, that's when he started to sink.
Yes. The eyes moved.
The eyes moved. He stopped looking straight ahead. And I think, David, that's part of what we're talking about here, that it's nice to look back, and it's nice to think, weren't things better in the old days, or a year ago, or 2 years ago, or 10 years ago, whatever it was. And then sometimes as well, we can be distracted when we get difficulties. You and me know what that's like, to have difficulties and distractions, and
Absolutely.
and unreal torment sometimes. But if you allow that to distract you, if you allow that to dim your vision, or to distract, or to take your vision off the goal that you have, like Peter, the goal of getting to Jesus, that's when he began to sink. And he shouted to Jesus, "Save me, save me." And I always love that picture. Whenever I hear that story or read that story, I always love that picture of Jesus putting out his hand. Grab my hand, you'll be all right. Peter, I could just see Peter going glug, 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 glug down the water. He just puts the hand up, and Jesus just grabs his hand and just pulls him up again. I love that. I always love that picture. Every time I speak about that story, I preach about that story, I have that in my mind, just the hand coming out, just pulling him up. I love that. I love that picture. So that's what can happen when we lose the vision, when we are distracted from the vision, when we're held back from the vision by circumstances, by people, by whatever it happens to be. And I think it's important to keep that focus, or to try and keep that focus as much as we can. And how do we keep that focus? We talked other weeks, I think we talked about how to try and keep that focus, how to keep your eyes on God, and try and keep working towards that goal, and then fix your eyes on God. And that all sounds lovely and that all sounds great, but that's not always easy to do. And I think we have to acknowledge that can be very tough. But I mentioned Stephen before. Remember, Stephen was the fellow, the first Christian martyr, the fellow that got stoned, and whenever he was being stoned, there was actually a man holding the boys that were doing the damage. There was a man. It's like, I always get this vision of a playground stand holding the coats when the boys are fighting or anything. The man that was holding their coats and looking after their coats was a man called Saul, who became Paul. So he was actually actively involved in Stephen's murder. It's an amazing thought when you think of all that Paul became after that, and all that Paul did after that, and all that Paul saw and all Paul said. I think that's important if we get distracted by thoughts of what we used to be, or how we used to be, or who we used to be. Think about Paul.
Yeah.
Paul even admitted himself that he spoke. He did a great sermon, and he spoke about, I guess in the book of Acts, he spoke about, you think you're bad? Would you hear what I did?
Yeah.
I went around arresting people and handing them over to the soldiers, and I knew exactly what was going to happen to those people. Those people were going to be taken away and murdered. So don't come telling me that you're too bad for God to love.
Absolutely.
Because if you want bad, when you hear my story, And I think that's great to help us to focus ourselves on God, to keep like Peter, keep going ahead. Don't get distracted. Don't let things pull you back or hold you back. And I was talking there about Stephen. And the thing that keeps you on the right track is doing what Stephen did when he was suffering and he was in great pain and he was in agony. And it says in Acts chapter 7, he didn't shout and roar. He didn't try and run away. He stood and he looked up. He looked up into heaven. And he said, I see heaven opened and the Son of Man standing at the right hand of God. He looked to heaven and he saw what Peter saw.
Yeah.
He saw what Peter saw. He saw Jesus. And that was his vision. And that's what took him through his death, his horrible, painful death. And I think I mentioned one other week when we talked about Stephen. It says whenever he looked up and he said those words, his face was like the face of an angel. His face glowed.
Yes, the glow. That's what we talked about that first week.
Mm-hmm. We did. We talked about that. And I think it's not what I intended to talk about, but I think, David, you've mentioned something very good there about distractions and looking back and trying to be and being drawn, possibly like Lot's wife and like Eve and like other people that had a vision, they knew what they should do, they knew what they wanted to do, but they were distracted, they were drawn away from it, they were, because Eve, before she was tempted, was living a perfect life. It was only her and Adam, and according to the Bible, they loved each other, and everything was grand and nice, but she got distracted. Lot's wife got distracted. There's times when even Satan tried to distract Jesus from his vision, the vision the Father and the Spirit had given him. Had taken him up to a high place and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and all that stuff too. But Jesus said, no, you're not going to distract me. You're not going to distract me. And we all have been given our own individual visions. For some people, it's creating mighty things. For boys like you, it's to have recenter here and to do all this great work here and to do all these amazing things that are happening here. For other people, it's different things. But everybody has been given their own wee job, their own wee vision, their own wee task. But we're all working for the same person. We all have ultimately the same goal. We're all doing it for Jesus, for God, the Holy Spirit, for the Father, the Trinity. But our goal is to glorify God. And we will if we follow the vision, if we stick to the vision, if we keep going with the vision. As I said in week 1, if it's the vision is only get through today without hurting or harming yourself or whatever it is, get through today.
Well, there's plenty that
glorifies God.
Yeah.
I think it does. And I wrote some verses that are written by people that followed their vision. And whenever times are tough, have we much time left, have we?
Well, we're definitely circling.
We're circling, right. Well, I've just...
If we were in Dublin, Ireland's eye, it'd be just beneath us.
Right. Well, I've just written a few things. We talked about Ezekiel and Isaiah and Jeremiah, and we've talked about Paul, and we've talked about different people in the Bible, Abraham. They all had, Peter as well, they all had an ultimate aim. They followed their big visions, what we consider big, massive, big visions. If we follow our own wee tiny individual visions, I have a vision, but it's nowhere near what those boys are doing or you're doing. But if you follow that vision, it all brings you to the same place.
Yes.
David, King David. You know what, he went through a lot, he suffered a lot. He wobbled, he got things wrong, he made some big boo-boos along the way. And he was suffering. He wrote these words in the Psalms while he was suffering a lot of things, and people were accusing him of all sorts. He said, "As for me, I will be vindicated, and will see your face when I awake. I will be satisfied with seeing your likeness."
Hmm.
He'll be satisfied with seeing God. And here's the thing that kept Isaiah going. Isaiah went through a lot. It says in chapter 6, he says, "I saw the Lord high and exalted, seated on a throne. The train of his robe filled the temple." And he goes on to do those verses, you know, that holy, holy Lord God Almighty with the cherubim. He saw that. He was allowed that. I think he was allowed to see that because God knew exactly how much he was going to have to suffer.
Yeah.
And
It's almost the building up to sending out thing, isn't it?
And yes, and he was given that because he said, if I keep going, if I keep along the road, I'm not only going to see that, I'm going to be there.
Yeah, you get that.
I'm going to be there. That's what I'm aiming for. And all the suffering and all the torture and all the things, and read Isaiah sometimes, it's a bit deep in some of it, but the stuff that man went through is nothing ordinary. But he knew that was his goal, and that's what kept him going. He says your eyes, he's talking about himself here. He says, your eyes will see the King in his beauty and view the land that stretches afar.
Aye, the vision beyond the thing.
He was going to be there. He was going to be there. Ezekiel's the same. Ezekiel, when I was among the exiles by the river Kebar, the heavens opened and I saw visions of God. And later on he said the Spirit lifted me up between earth and heaven. And visions of God, he took me to Jerusalem. I don't think that was just the Jerusalem that's there today. I think it's maybe
New Jerusalem.
The New Jerusalem he was taking them to. And I think that those men kept that in their hearts and their minds all the way through their journey. And that's what kept them going. And you know, those things that these men are telling us about, they're for us as well. It wasn't just for them. You know, it's our ultimate goal as well. Ultimately, we're going to be in the New Jerusalem. We're going to see the heavens open. We're going to see God. We're going to do all those things that these great people did as well. And we're going to see God seated on his throne and his robe filling the temple. We're going to see all that.
The extra vision.
The extra vision. We're not only going to see it, we're going to be there.
Yeah.
We're going to be there. I love what Jesus says. He's praying for his believers. He's praying for his disciples. Father, I want those you have given me to be with me where I am, and to see my glory, the glory you've given me because you loved me before the creation of the world. Jesus is praying for us that someday we're going to see his glory. We're going to be with him. We're not just going to see it, we're going to be there. We're going to be in the middle of it. And today we're talked about Paul and all that he did and all that he was. And he had visions of the third heaven and different things like that. But he said, and all those great visions that those men have had, and they wrote down for us to hold on to cling on to. Paul says, but now we only see a reflection as in a mirror. And a mirror in those days was just a polished bit of metal. That's what that means. So if you looked at yourself, you saw this sort of blurry. It was like one of them folded funny Hall of Mirrors jobs, and it was all twisted and distorted. Then he says, then we shall see face to face. That's going to be the culmination of working and doing what Peter did and just keep it going.
I'm going to have to tell you that we have arrived.
We have arrived.
Yeah.
We've bumped on the ground, haven't we?
We've landed and jiggly, and the tray table has gone ba-doom.
Oh, no. You see, you're supposed to have it stored away.
I know. Well, it was a very rough land.
Right, so it come to flip down.
It was indeed. It was a rough land. But,
So I think that's a good way to end this thing about vision.
yeah, no, I think it is too.
You know, no matter what you think what God has given you to do is maybe a wee tiny thing and it's not important, but no, God gave that to you. He gave you that vision. He gave you that goal in your life. He gave you that something to work towards. That's all you need to worry about. Don't worry about the visions He's given to other people, but read those things that those people have seen in the Bible. And just remember that's for you as well, not just for them.
Yeah.
Someday you're going to see God and you're going to see Jesus face to face. And He's going to say, well done, you stuck with it. You did the wee job I gave you. Well done, you.
Good and faithful servant.
Well done, good and faithful servant, yes.
Just as we finish, hello to Rosemary and Peter. You were in for a little while there, and
Good.
absolutely. And Alison says hello. We've only just managed to tune in. Sorry, I missed it, but we'll get back and watch it. Sending love.
Alison was a busy woman tonight.
Busy woman.
Busy woman. She's a face tube sensation as well.
A tube face international.
Yeah,
Instagram.
international sensation. She certainly is, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I hope you're doing well, Alison.
She is. She's a great girl.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
We really do need to land this crate.
That's no problem at all.
Because otherwise, if we're going to miss the gate.
We can't do that.
No, couldn't miss the gate.
No, we can't do that. We can't do that.
Well, in Knock, you couldn't miss the gate. It doesn't really matter what gate you turn up. But I think we're landing in Dublin tonight, so...
Hey, you walk through any door, you'll be all right and Knock. Car parks that way.
Yeah, no, actually, yeah, no, in Dublin, if we were this late, they'd be gone home. They would.
We home to their bed.
Well, we appreciate you guys who stuck with us.
Yes, thanks very much for sticking through all that nonsense in the first half and all the nonsense in the second half and everything else.
We had, and well done to Daughter who managed to share the video. Just seen on the phone there.
She must be able to feel her fingers.
She must.
David.
There you go. Well done. Absolutely.
Well done,
no, he's
Dodo.
not. He's somewhere in England, I think, tonight.
Sending lots of love to the dodo.
Yeah. Oh, David Flanagan, the vision and the vow, a great story of vision for 24/7 prayer. Oh, you get me all fluffy, David. Gets me all fluffy. Do you know, 1st of April, Friday, the 1st of April, the 24/7 guys are coming through Sligo.
Are they?
They're going to be in this very building.
Are they really, or is it April Fool?
No, genuinely, it's genuinely going to happen. Seemingly, according to an email that happened this week, 1st of
I'd
April.
verify that one. Only joking.
All right, we gather, we'll eat chips and pray. I think it's Friday the 1st of April, I think.
You see chips first.
Yeah, I'd say there'll be chips.
Get your priorities right.
Yeah, absolutely. Folks, it's been 3 really good weeks. It's been a really nice time to do something a bit different and to.
It was a bit different.
It was a
wasn't
bit
it?
different, and we really appreciate all of your comments and your engagement. It's what makes it. Otherwise, it doesn't.
Does we need help? We really do.
We need
all the
we
help
need you
we
all.
can get there. All the help we can get. Yeah.
So thanks for those who stuck with us over the last few weeks, or if you are new tonight, we're going to take a break for a few weeks.
I'm getting old.
He's getting old. I'm going to England next week.
Lovely.
Yeah, I know, for work, and there's a whole lot of other stuff going on. So we are back in a few weeks' time, but I can't remember the date exactly. So we'll work on it. Keep an eye on all the Facebook
I will
pages,
let you know.
and we'll share it, and
We'll let you know
Sally will run it up a
when to
flagpole.
stay off the airwaves.
Yes, when we're back. I hope to do a wee bit of something for maybe Lent.
Oh, we lent you.
I went Lenty McLent face.
Don't worry, it's only lent you.
Exactly. But an unmiserable Lent.
Oh no, we can't afford miserable. Lent.
No miserable Lent. It's still, life is still miserable enough without
My
having to.
life's miserable enough.
Yes, no more misery.
But we do love the misery, don't we?
Yeah, we do, but
We love it.
not enough to inflict full-scale Lent on people.
No. What do you call your nun and Father Ted at the wheel them to do that?
Sumter.
I got them off the roller skates.
Yes, she's some woman for one woman.
Funny.
There we go.
That's right. Yes, she had all these
Jude
eggs.
Rogers is her name in real life, I
She had
think.
all the Easter eggs. That was so funny.
Some woman.
Mm-hmm.
She plays a little character called Jacinta O'Brien sometimes.
Oh, yeah, I think you might be right there.
She does. She's very funny. She's
Resident
on
expert.
Radio 1 sometimes. RTE Radio 1 now, not BBC Radio
not the
1.
other one.
No, I can't see it. BBC
Other radio ones are available.
Radio 1s are available. Anyway, Ted Fest is on the Aran Islands.
Oh,
Actually,
Ted Fest!
2 weekends time. Oh,
I've threatened to be wheeled around in a wheelchair in Ted
I'm a
Fest.
bit sad about that. Anyway, that's another story. Could do the weekend on on the Aran Islands.
Some crack.
It'll be some crack. Maybe next year.
Maybe.
Folks, we have detained you long enough.
We have.
And we hope that wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you are okay. We'll see you in a few weeks' time. Would you like to pray, Malcolm? And we'll land this.
I'm going to do the wee blessing. The wee
Do the
blessing that we always
I'm
do.
up for that.
I'm going to say, may the peace of the Lord Christ go with you wherever he may send you. May he guide you through the wilderness, protect you through the storm. May he bring you home rejoicing wherever he may send you. May he bring you hope rejoicing once again into our doors. And the blessing of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit be with you and be with all those who you love this day and forevermore. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Look after yourselves. We'll see you in a few weeks' time, and God bless.
Bye-bye.
Bye.